Hey everybody, welcome to The Critical Spectrum. My name is Matthew Magnus Lundeen. I am joined here by...
Colin Steele.
Michael Murgia.
You were trying to think of a nickname, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were trying to think of some catchphrase. We already had Michael the Merc Murgia. Were you not satisfied with that?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forgot. That was when you called in. Well, I called you. And you had just sat down in a room away from everyone.
Oh, in North Carolina?
Yeah.
I actually laid down. I literally laid down on the bed, and all of a sudden I got a call. I'm like, I guess I can answer this.
Yeah, and then you had legitimately one of the most concise, takes we've ever heard on this podcast.
It was my vacation brain, obviously.
Absolutely.
It took me to another level.
Laying down in another room will do that to you.
Yeah.
It's like that episode...
Maybe I should just lay down for this episode.
Oh, don't lay down my bag.
Ow!
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I just laid on.
Yeah, that's my bag. You gotta be careful, dude. I got knives in there.
I was gonna say, what the fuck you got in there?
Yeah.
I just got stabbed, I just didn't know it.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I'll notice by the blood later.
I am wearing a white shirt.
I'll notice by the blood that isn't mine.
Oh.
You wouldn't believe the things that happen in this room. Wow, this is going to be a hard transition. Hey, everybody. You know, I wanted to take a moment at the beginning of the show to kind of spread a little positivity because, you know, things have been kind of fucked.
Kind of.
Yeah, they've been fucked. Not hard stop. And, you know, it's just been tough if you're, especially if you're a woman in the United States, if you're a member of the transgender community in the United States, really if you're not, a dude and white, you're probably, it's pretty much the American story. I know, it's overdone. But... things are bad, and you know I've had my moments in the last few months messaging you guys about how I've been feeling, and you know we all need our own ways of kind of coping and dealing with things, and it's harder for some than most, especially depending on kind of how close you feel in proximity to the danger per se. But it's not always, and it's tough because there's sometimes this feeling of not just wanting the comfort of saying it'll all be okay. Sometimes it's just about looking around you and saying, you all see that too, right? You see the big ship that's about to crash into us. And so I'm reminded at this moment of kind of a moment from one of my favorite movies of all time, which is V for Vendetta, in which the lead character, Evie, played by the wonderful Natalie Portman, has found herself imprisoned in a very, very Orwellian type of captivity and finds a note from another prisoner. It's unknown whether that prisoner is alive or dead, but it's a story of a woman named Valerie, and basically tells her whole life story. And, you know, the highs and lows of her life, and then her own captivity. And at the end of this very touching and emotional story that really moved me when I saw this movie at a young age, she ends the note by saying that even if I don't know who you are, even if I will never meet you, or laugh with you, or kiss you, I want you to know that I love you with all my heart. And so if you are afraid in the ways that I am, if you feel as the way I do, I want you to know that you are not alone. Know that I love you. You are beautiful, you are valid, and you deserve to live. You deserve to live. And with that, Colin will now talk about the Mexican pizza from Taco Bell.
So it turns out V is for Valerie.
What?
Yeah, oh shit! I never thought about that. It's another V.
Valerie. Jamie? Wait, no, Jamie the real one? Jeremy.
The real one, but we say Jeremy.
Jeremy.
We say Jeremy in this house.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, now that I'm done being genuine, we can go back to being goofballs. What was it? All right, so Colin, tell us about the Mexican pizza.
You know,
Do you want to
Michael.
say Baja Blast your brains out?
Michael, I was feeling adventurous tonight. We were going to Taco Bell.
Yeah,
But that's part of the journey, okay? It's not the destination. It's the journey itself.
The Baja Blast joke was in reference to the fact that I've got a Baja Blast, and at one point Michael walked in on one of his coworkers drinking a Baja Blast and said, "Hey, you drinking a Baja Blast?" And he said, "I want to Baja Blast my brains out."
Thank you for
That's the joke.
Thank you for catching everybody up.
I got the Mexican pizza. I was like, all right, it's Taco Bell. It's Taco Bell. I'm not expecting greatness.
It's Taco Bell.
But I opened the box, and I just...
Okay, they made it right there, and it did not look that great.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is.
V for Valerie.
Yeah, V for Valerie. V for Valerie.
And I opened my box. It's just kind of just like old melted cheese on a tostada, a little bit. It tasted fine.
It's the Mexican pizza charm. It looks like exactly if they gave you a pizza, but the driver was going a little too fast in a turn and the cheese started falling off.
Yeah.
That's what the Mexican pizza's all about,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Absolutely.
You got two of them.
I got two of them.
That's a very good point.
And God, do I remember them being a lot better.
Because how long has it been since you've had one? Because they've been gone.
Considering
for a
they've been
while.
gone for 2 years, at least 2 years.
At least 2 years.
I would probably say only maybe 2.5 years, worst case. Literally, when I went to Taco Bell, my order would always be a Mexican pizza and 2 cheesy gordita crunches. And that was always a little bit too much for me. And still today, I for some reason still bought this time 2 Mexican pizzas and a cheesy gordita crunch. But you know what? I think I'm done with Mexican pizza.
I honestly thought I was going to have to fight harder for that one.
No. You know what? You're kind of right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I was more the nostalgia glasses of I ate these my entire life, and then realistically, they've been gone for 2 years, and I just never go to Taco Bell in general.
Yeah.
So now that they're back, I'm just kind of okay. I was really excited, and then I had it, and I was like, yeah,
That's fair.
It's sad.
yeah.
Which is funny because just before we walked into Taco Bell, we were talking about the sadness of knowing that the places that you went when you were younger, that the food probably isn't as good. We were talking about the Chuck E. Cheese pizza,
yeah.
because I saw that they had Chuck E. Cheese pizza at Mariano's. They have frozen in the frozen section, but it's the frozen version of
Already
Chuck E. Cheese.
probably what was a shitty pizza.
Probably, but it was probably. It's just, when you went to Chuck E. Cheese, it's you didn't expect the pizza to be as good as it was.
From what we remember.
From what we remember, exactly.
True. Same with Enchanted Castle. I don't know if you guys ever went to Enchanted Castle.
No.
There's not. I think there's only one of them, unless there's more throughout the country. But as far as I know, there's only one Enchanted Castle.
I thought you were talking about the castle at Disney.
No. There's only a place called Enchanted Castle. It's basically just Chuck E. Cheese, and they had a go-kart place attached to it and a laser tag place attached to it. Yeah. And same thing. I had pizza and I ate it and I was like, "Damn, this pizza's bomb!" And then now that I'm older, I had it again and I was like, "This ain't schmacking." It used to be schmacking.
Oh, okay.
My younger brain thought so. See, but when you get older, you broaden your horizons. Also, your taste buds do change.
That's also true, yeah.
If you want to take the science out of it, you broaden your horizons.
Yeah.
I didn't eat sushi. I haven't had actually, I still haven't had poke, but it looks delicious. I want to try it.
I've had it. I recently got into poke because I went to a place.
It's like a sushi bowl.
Kind of, yeah.
Basically.
I went to a place with my sister before we went to go see the Batman on that fan premiere event thing. In the way. And we went to this place where I had a pizza. She had poke nachos, but she let me try some of the poke nachos, and I was like, I should have ordered this.
Poke nachos from where?
From, I don't know what the place was called. I can text my sister.
I think you were trying to say it was from a movie theater. I'm like, excuse me?
No.
You had raw fish
No. I wouldn't.
movie
Look, the last time I had anything, I actually ate food from an AMC dine-in was when I got a cherry Coke that I spilled on myself, and
just like the guy in the beginning with all the popcorn.
Yeah.
You were just doing it.
See, someone has to carry on the tradition.
And that's you.
Now that fucking rat bastard is.
They tamed him.
They tamed him. They put a gun to his head, and
they're like, "You fucking throw that popcorn one more time."
If you throw that popcorn. It's probably because
Do you know how many people probably was like,
did it.
wait for it, and actually threw their
But
popcorn?
think about it now. Now you've taken away. They'll do it just to spite AMC. It'll happen more.
No, now they just look like a fucking idiot.
No, yeah, right. No, you're right. Now just looks like a guy who's eating popcorn one by one.
Yeah, which fucking weirdo.
Which yeah.
That's like eating like a cookie crumb compared to
every time that I eat popcorn.
I feel personally attacked right now.
You eat a cookie crumb instead of
No, but with the popcorn thing.
But you eat one piece of popcorn at a time?
Yeah.
Every time I grab
It's a
popcorn,
psychopath right now.
But here's the thing: when you grab popcorn, not one at a time, but just a bundle, because it's never like a ball. You have to. The way I grab it, my fingers, it looks like. It honestly looks like Wanda coming out of the mirror dimension. I like my bones like just go in weird directions to grab a bundle so that I can go.
You have to fight gravity enough. You have to position your fingers in a way that friction will stop gravity from pulling down the popcorn.
Edward Scissorhands would actually probably go ham on that. Just like.
Speaking of popcorn balls, do those still exist?
They're going to talk about the Johnny Depp case.
No,
anyways, popcorn balls?
Yeah, they're like popcorn, but like held together with like marshmallow and shit.
Oh,
those existed. Yeah.
I actually don't even like popcorn that much, so.
Oh, okay.
You ever notice how like it feels like the popcorn you make at home or the popcorn you get at the theater, and then compare that to the shape and the consistency of the popcorn that you get prepackaged, like HG Creditors cheese caramel mix, which delightful. It's like it is a rounder, more consistently pleasingly shaped popcorn. But I was like...
There's different kinds of popcorn. Like, legit, actually.
Right.
I had this, I think... can't remember who gave it to me. Point is, I basically gave it to my mom because I don't really like popcorn that much. But it was like... It literally said it was like Amish popcorn. And it literally had like 8 bags of different popcorn. And it told you how it popped. And, like, what color it would pop into and stuff like that. So, like, they actually have, like... One was called, like, mushroom. One was called, like... I think there was one called, like, garlic. And my mom's like, does it taste like garlic? But it's like, no, it pops in the shape of, like, garlic, kind of. That kind of thing.
Interesting.
I don't think it was actually garlic. It was something else. Some weird spice that were like, what the fuck? Like, ew, that sounds gross. And then we realized it popped just a specific way. So now that you know.
You know what we should do? We should follow that Brian David Gilbert like peppercorn.
I've wanted to do that for years.
Yeah. We should do that. We should do that sometime soon. What is that? He made like a video like tutorial on like how to make like his own like peppercorn, with like some Laogan Ma like spice, and it generally looked pretty cool. Also, you mentioned the Johnny Depp trial. We're not going to talk about it because I think it's stupid that it's as...
I still can't believe it's still going on.
Yeah, I can't believe it's going on, and I also can't believe that people are talking about it and profiting off. I mean, it's easy content, so like I'm not going to judge anyone for jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah. It's just sad that it's come to that, and that's what's in demand right now. But I did have a fucking amazing idea. I was on Chris's stream a couple nights ago. We were playing Fortnite and talking about the how we were just being angry about the fact that the case is talked about in the way it is. And I said, Chris, what if we did like a thing where we live streamed us like kind of parodying the coverage of the case, but we just watch the OJ trial as if it's new.
Oh, Jesus. I feel like people probably watch that.
And then Chris was
the better part is that people would watch that and then be like, like actually think it's real, like not even know that it was a thing that happened, because there's such a young generation that probably doesn't even know who O.J. Simpson is, that's watching Twitch and stuff. Well, so they'll be like, oh my god, where is this being televised? How can I watch this?
Did you ever hear that O.J. quote, like where he was just like, the reason he never goes back to like the reason he never goes back to California is that like he quote like he's afraid that he'll like be sitting next to the person that did it.
Oh my god, is that really what he said?
Yeah. Well, it was just ridiculous. God, but like Chris even said, like, Matt, I'm kind of like half tempted to take a day off of work and just like stream the OJ trial.
Oh my god. Hey, I mean, might get clicks for it.
So Colin told me a long time ago that his parents had got him this like subscription service for like whiskey, and then just recently he finally figured it out, because when someone tells you that you have a subscription thing, you probably don't really interact with it until a month later, and you're
That's
like,
about right. Yeah.
oh yeah, that's a thing. So he got himself some whiskey, but he also got a bunch of samples of some Japanese whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all Japanese whiskey?
It is all Japanese whiskey.
All Japanese whiskey.
One said it was brandy, but then also said it was whiskey.
I should drink water as a
Is
pulp.
whiskey just weird? Jeremy, is brandy a form of whiskey?
It might be. I don't know.
Because I know bourbon is whiskey.
Well, it might be like kind of a mixed wine thing where they just kind of like mix types.
Oh,
of...
it's like a brandy
Yeah,
and whiskey.
yeah.
I
mean,
typed brandy.
they do have-
I typed brandy with an I like it was a stripper.
Then I must say brandy.
Is brandy whiskey?
Oh.
Brandy is a spirit distilled from fermented wine that is aged. This isn't telling me. Whiskey is a spirit distilled from fermented malted cereals such as barley, wheat, rye, and corn.
So the answer is no.
It's just
So
a
it's probably
blended
simple.
thing.
I mean, Japanese like whiskeys are a lot of times blended anyway, so I mean that makes sense.
So, but to paint a picture, it came in a very nice cylindrical box in these 3 vials.
Yeah, they
Hear
look
that?
like yeah.
I liken them to everybody's favorite hit movie, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
It looks like the vials that the Jekyll and Hyde dude has. Like it straight up looks like if I take this, I'm gonna transform.
When I see vials,
And that's mine, by the way.
Oh, when I see vials, I think of all kinds of.
Want.
I feel like I need ice.
I can go get ice.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
You better put that. That will be right back music. Quick, Colin. Entertain the people. Did you know that 15% could save you 15%? I just said 15% could save you 15%.
On what?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay. You think I'm this clever to come up with something right now?
Kind of. Ooh, listen to that.
Here, hold that glass up.
What is this, like ASMR?
Yeah, at this point.
Hell yeah. No, throw that in there. Now I
Throw it
want
in
3.
there.
You're sitting in a nice bar, and they're putting the ice. There's a woman putting the ice, each one individually.
Well, it's the.
Someone's impatient. Where's your glass?
I don't want one.
Well,
I'm a neat man.
Yeah, I'm on the rocks kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like to have the water kind of mix with it and activate the flavors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Well, their question is, do we just want a taste, or are we going like a third of the vial each?
I feel like just a taste.
Okay.
But I feel like we're going to have to rinse out our glasses every time.
Nah, it's fine.
But then it's going to mix the flavors, Colin. You can't cross the stream.
You can though, as one of these vials is clearly demonstrated. You can mix brandy and whiskey.
No, but it's not the same. If we're doing a taste test, bro, we're going to have to cleanse our palate.
Nah.
You didn't bring crackers to this? To cleanse our palate?
I've got pretzels, but they're cheddar.
Ew.
Oh God.
I don't like pretzels.
You don't like pretzels?
You know what?
The
They're
fuck is
alright.
wrong with you?
I like how you didn't say anything about me not liking popcorn, but as soon as I said I don't like pretzels, I mean, you can put more than
I think you've
that.
told me. Oh, that's
Okay, not as much as him, though.
The scent immediately.
good.
The scent.
Oh, well.
The scent.
It's with the ice. That's why.
He's got ice, too!
The scent hit my nostrils and it was strong.
It's not that strong.
But I think it was concentrated through the
Through the vial.
Speaking of vials,
Is
I
this
want to
the
say this
blended
earlier.
one?
When I think of vials, I think of like vivid
No.
memories of watching like Kiki's Delivery Service with my sister, and because she's a witch, and so like I think her mom or some other witch character, they had like a lab and they just had all these vials just full of like liquid. And I just
Is that... Sorry, pause. What was that face
It's
for?
more of it's an interesting face.
Which one is this?
This is the A.
Is it A? We all have A.
What's the name
Oh,
of it?
it's the fucking,
Survey what I'm having
the
here.
fucking Ohishi single. Okay.
Well, this is Ohishi Brandy Single Cask Whiskey, a blended
this is
Japanese
the
whiskey,
Okay.
42.1% alcohol.
Has almond flavor
I'm
and
gonna
other
hate
things
this,
in it.
Just kidding.
Yes, it tells you with like a kind of like a golden ratio type of thing. Tells you the ingredients from most prominent to least. In
I
a
feel like
spiral.
I'm not high class enough to drink this. I'm gonna try it.
A combination of almond, floral, honey, apple, caramel,
Matt, what do
oak
they say when they
tannis,
drink?
sour syrup,
It
and
depends
just
on
as
the
toast.
culture.
No, I meant in
Oh.
Japanese. What's like? I don't know what. Itadakimasu is not eating, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of.
kampai. Cheers.
Kampai.
Kampai.
Skull.
Fuck you.
Fuck, you cunt.
I'm trying to make sure I didn't just, like, fucking chip your class.
It's interesting.
Interesting. Do you feel the ice kind of waters it down a little bit?
Not that it waters it down, but I will say it probably lessens the bite.
Probably.
I think that's what it's going to do.
We are getting kind of a different experience.
It's also probably really hot.
To be honest...
Like, I meant, like, it probably melted the ice a lot more.
To be honest, the only reason I put ice in this is because you
brought
asked
that
for
water?
it. And now I'm thinking, I've never drank whiskey with ice before.
I like it cold, that's why. I just like
I'm gonna dump this out, and then the next two we're gonna do just dry.
I like my whiskey with ice. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin your experience.
You do you. I wasn't thinking because I'm a follower.
Also, this is blended whiskey, which is automatically not going to be as bitey.
I also definitely gave you guys more when I looked at the vial by accident.
Well, how much is left?
You drained it, but...
You drained it, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There was like this much left for me.
Bro.
I mean, granted, that's like a third, yeah.
Yeah. That's about even.
As I was
I don't feel cheated.
I was pouring out the glass, I noticed there's still some in there, so I drank the rest of it.
Well, see, but like I was saying, I don't know if you heard me, but blended whiskeys are always a little bit less.
But I know that's gonna hit me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now we're moving on to B.
Oh, we're already moving on to B? Shit.
Or actually, do we want to pace this out? Let's pace it out through the show.
Yeah, so we can still talk.
Yeah. Do you know? Have you ever seen that Vine, or it was either a Vine or a TikTok? I think it was a Vine first. It was just a woman on a cooking show being like, "We're gonna add a shot of vodka," and it was way more than just one shot.
Yeah, she's just like looking at the
and then it cuts to a
doing
guy
it.
like falling downstairs.
It was great.
I mean, realistically, I don't think all three is gonna mess us up. I just feel like we should probably just pace it out a little bit more.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Mom.
You know what? When I was
spoilers, MOM, Multiverse of Madness, Mom.
Oh.
Everybody was like, "Do you think they did it on purpose because it came out by Mother's Day and Wanda's
it's a
a mom
mother?
about a mom trying to find her kids?"
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
I didn't-
stupid
Or if it's genius.
I didn't think about it. I didn't even think about that particular... I knew the acronym was MOM, but what I thought about in my mind was how a short story I wrote a long time ago, or a story that I wrote in notes, in various notebooks throughout late high school and college, the acronym was MOM, and I was always like, I can't make that acronym, because people are just going to be, Mom.
Mom.
So... I didn't actually think about that, but you know what? That's actually really clever when you think about it. Even if it wasn't intentional, it's pretty clever. Anyway,
Yeah.
when I was writing my review, I was gonna like start kind of like trying to be like funny, and I was gonna like totally get the name of the show. I was gonna get totally the name of the movie wrong. I was gonna be like Doctor Strangelove and the Multiverse Top Mad Dash. I really liked it.
I really liked it. I honestly think... I mean, you guys know I've seen it 3 times at this point.
Yeah.
By the way, AMC Stubbs A-List. $1 for your first month.
You want a sponsor?
Sponsor us, AMC. Literally $1 for your first month.
As soon as we finish B, I might end up...
Signing up.
I might be drunk enough to sign
Oh,
up.
wow.
It's literally $1 for your first month. You get 3 movies a week. Doesn't matter if it's IMAX or not. Doesn't even fucking matter. And then if you buy like popcorn and stuff, you get free upgrades.
Yeah.
So they give you a large, small, stuff like that. And then you get rewards points which you can spend later. And you see, hey. And then even if it wasn't $1 for the first month, okay, fine, $21 a month. Sounds steep, but I mean, I feel like at this point I've kind of see at least probably 2 movies a month at least.
Definitely.
Especially right now with everything being backed up because of the pandemic, and now it's just starting to throw everything out there. I'll probably start watching a bunch of shit. So $21 a month to watch 2 movies, or obviously more, is worth it. Because
I mean,
two movies is like $26.
You might get you might hit those stretches where there aren't a lot of movies coming out, but it all pays off like around award season when like there's like a ton of like shit coming out.
For me, I've told you guys, I have to watch movies twice. I will tell the story now. Suicide Squad has ruined me. I watched it once, said it was great, watched it a second time, fucking awful.
And we're talking about the 2016.
2016. Yeah, the new one is actually great.
Yeah.
But I watched it a second time, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck was I thinking? This is awful. And I tried to watch it a third time with my mom, and I just literally had to pause it. I'm like, I can't watch this. And I walked out.
Same, because the second time we all saw it together at the Hollywood Boulevard.
That's when I hated it.
Yeah.
I watched it the first time, I think with my sister.
That.
No, it was Cameron. You were out of town.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like Cameron and some of our other friends. We went to the Hollywood Boulevard, and I was like, yeah, you know, I really liked the first time. We watched it again. I was like, dear God, what was I thinking? So ever since then, I now have to watch a movie at least 2 times
That's
to know
fair.
how I actually feel.
Well, no, see, I have a similar system now in that I rarely ever rewatch movies, so it's like, would I see this movie again?
Oh, see, that's good because it's like you don't rewatch them, so it's like, would I want to rewatch this again? That's a good one actually.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy that you're doing the AMC Stubs thing because I feel like having a membership like that, it encourages you to actually like go to the theaters more.
I mean, I like going to the theaters anyway.
Yeah, I know, but like sometimes, but how often do you think to yourself like, oh man, but that's it's money involved.
Yeah.
Like here, like you can at
Now I
least,
can just forget about that
can
they're
just forget
charging
about
me,
that. Yeah.
and then be like, it's free.
you can just get a monthly more you could go for like a yearly charge type thing. But see, for me, when I was doing the radio show, I really broadened my horizons as a critic because I was actually going to the theater to watch the kinds of movies that I normally would be a little, not necessarily afraid, but just hesitant to go see.
Right.
Because it's like, when you see like some drama, like when you see something like, if I'd seen the trailer for something like Crimes of the Future like 5 years ago, I probably would have been like, this could be good, but I don't know if I want to see this in theaters. Like, I don't know if I want to put the effort in to go to the
Did you hear
theater.
there was actually walkouts during the...
Oh yeah, I expected that. But they got like a 5-minute long standing ovation after it was done.
Nice.
Yeah. But I mean that's also very typical of Cannes, and also Cannes can be dodgy because there could be a movie that is like received really well, but at Cannes like it'll get like shit talked like constantly. I think just it sounds to me like the audience at that festival can be a little shitty at times. That's the impression I get.
A little stuck up.
But I don't know if I ever would have watched The Lighthouse if I wasn't seeing it with Chris. Like, well, also the thing is, Chris was an employee of AMC, so so I was able to actually get in for free.
You got the hookup. That's why.
I was able to get in for free, see movies with him like every week for the radio show. So we saw like The Lighthouse, and I was like, oh, fucking hell, this was incredible.
Yeah, honestly, if it wasn't for Stubbs, I probably wouldn't have like rush to go see Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
And God, I'm so happy that I did.
So I mean, so if you're someone who likes movies but finds it difficult to convince yourself to go and watch movies, it might behoove you to invest in. Yeah.
Word of the day.
Yeah. You want another word of the day? Bailiwick. Bailiwick.
Is that actually a fucking word?
It's kind of
Jeremy?
like it's kind of like the phrase like wheelhouse, like it's kind of out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Kind of not in my bailiwick. It's a similar.
I
type
feel
of
like you're
phrase.
fucking with me right
No,
now.
so my dad.
You
said
better
that,
Google that.
My
right
dad
now.
said it at one point.
If it's not on Google, it's not real.
It's real. Jesus fucking Christ! I know because so my dad told me the phrase, and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And so then, we like looked it up at some point, and well, actually at one point we'd forgotten it. I'd forgotten what it was, and then we were sitting there for like 10
You're
minutes.
sitting there like, tallywag.
I was sitting there with him for 10 minutes. We were trying to think of what the word was, and then I realized just recently where he must have first learned that word, because we were watching Deadwood the movie from 2020, and the main villain George Hurst says bailiwick, and he exchanged a look with me.
He's like, oh, Jeremy, look that up. All right, Colin, while he's looking that up, what are your impressions on Vial A? The ocean.
I mean, I was gonna share my opinions of Multiverse of Madness, but
I mean, you could do that too.
Oh yeah,
I was just saying because we like kind of drank that.
Yeah. I want us to go through our thoughts on Multiverse of Madness, but first, bailiwick. One's sphere. Here, let me just.
Whoa!
Jesus, now this is loose. I don't know why that's so loose.
That'll be fine.
Okay. one's sphere of operations or particular area of interest.
Australian there for a second.
Particular? Something. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what the fuck that was supposed to be.
I was something.
Hey, I'm walking in.
Yeah. You never... man,
Just, Jeremy, shut it down.
Yeah, Jeremy, it's done. Colin?
What? Multiverse of Madness? Oh, yeah.
I want to hear from you.
I mean, I had my two favorite characters in it. Wanda and Strange.
Wong,
and Wong's honestly...
Honestly, he is actually really good. Yeah.
He's in, like, almost most modern MCU movies.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought there was too much in it. I know we've talked about this after the fact.
Yeah. I will say, I thought that in the beginning. I thought it was a little rushed. But after seeing it, when I watched it the second time with you guys, I backtracked on that. I didn't think it was as rushed as I thought it was. But that also might be because I already saw it and kind of expected it, Because, again, the second watch always does change things.
Yeah.
Because you know it, and you're kind of looking out for other things. But I feel like it felt less rushed the second time. But I will agree, my first impression when I first saw it, I was like, damn, that was quick.
It does move very, very quickly,
Right.
which I think can also be an asset to it.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. It's also a film that very quickly subverts expectations. A lot of the marketing of this film, I think, was a lot more clever than some of the other MCU films as of late, because it gave a lot of impressions as to who the antagonists could have been in the film. I mean, was it going to be that evil version of Strange? Was it going to be zombie Strange? Was it going to be an alternate version of Wanda? Some of the marketing made it seem as if we were going to see different versions of Wanda.
Like a Wanda v. Wanda battle kind of thing.
Yeah, and there was a lot going on in the marketing, and also very deceptive marketing that changed lines of dialogue and who the subject in certain sentences was, like from one character to another. So I'd say
stupid marketing, and the fact that they showed off one of the biggest cameos that I feel like they shouldn't have showed off.
Are you talking about Xavier?
Yeah, I feel like they really should not have showed that in the trailers at all.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely one of the most impressive ones of the lineup. But I also think that it was tactical, because I don't think that these movies should be hyped specifically for their cameos. I
don't think so, because a lot of people actually were pissed about, like, there are so many people online like, I can't believe in the lack of cameos. I'm like, it's not supposed to be cameos.
That should not be the thing holding up the film.
I just feel like because there was a cameo. Yeah, and like, even then I just feel like, in my opinion, I feel like for that kind of cameo where it's like something that people like really wanted to see, like after so long of seeing at least an X-Men, like honestly I kind of would have rather have had them show, spoilers for you haven't seen, obviously we're already spoiling everything, but I would kind of rather have them show like Black Bolt, Captain Carter, or Mr. like any of the other ones except for Xavier in there.
Oh yeah,
that would be my
give like show one of the lesser ones, and then
they could have shown, because Black Bolt was already shown before. Captain Carter technically was already shown before. Obviously, Captain Marvel, just Monica Rambeau. I mean, technically they did show that in the trailer, but
Maria Rambeau.
Sorry, Monica's.
Because Monica.
Too many, two M's and
M's.
MRs.
Yeah.
Why?
it's a lot.
Yeah, but they should have shown not Monica, Maria. Like, I feel like more or something. I don't know. Like, in the trailer, I feel like I would have rather have them shown those characters. Even if they showed Mr. Fantastic in the trailer, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
I feel like Xavier should have been more of, like, the... Because even in the movie, they made it, like, they hyped it up in the movie almost like, who's the last one? Mm-hmm. But obviously everybody already knew because the trailer already showed you.
Yeah.
So, like, that was kind of a weird kind of thing.
And the thing about that whole reveal was that, and I'm not opposed to cameos, or at least I wasn't. It's just that because we're in a post No Way Home world, because we're in a post Snyder Cut world, a post No Way Home world, and a post Sonic redesign world, we're giving a lot of leeway to fans that are, if I'm being honest, I'm not necessarily talking about us, but kind of us, but not really, because we.
He's talking about it.
Because like we, we like respect women, but like there's a lot of fans that get way too much. They get way too much leeway, whether it be in comic book fandom or whether it be in gaming, when it comes to like, we want this.
Yeah.
And then like they get it.
And then you're kind of like, I kind of wish we didn't get that.
Yeah, I kind of wish the No Way Home wasn't just the visual metaphor for the dissolving of the relationship between Marvel and Sony.
Yeah, honestly, true.
I mean, still a great film. I love it. I love Amazing Spider-Man.
It's a great
I
film.
love Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm even more appreciative of Sam Raimi being like, I will put them in my movie, but I will kill them off.
And honestly, I actually love that they did that.
You gave me strong Dennis vibes from Always Sunny.
Yeah. 2 wars?
Oh my God.
I was just thinking, because we're doing the podcast, I was thinking of the podcast episode where they have, like, the guy from who was in the army on their podcast. I don't know, the It's Always Sunny guy who was like, they're just like, oh, he's that army guy. I don't remember the character's name.
I don't either.
But they was like, so we're fighting a war right now in this country? It's like, well, there's actually 2 wars. 2 wars? But no, like, Sam Raimi was like, we're gonna kill off every single one of these motherfuckers.
Except for Mordo.
Yeah, but we're gonna kill off the ones that are like the
new ones.
the big cameos. Yeah. And we're gonna do it in a way that's brutal, that's kind of like a fuck you to forced cameos, but also the most effective jobbing that you could have put in the script. Like, the scene preceding that, like, of, like, Wanda chasing them through the sewers would not have been nearly as terrifying if it wasn't for
her absolutely
brutally murdering,
blowing up Black
her
Bolt's
brutally
mind.
murdering someone who we have just seen killed that universe's version of Strange, and
with
literally
2 words,
and then also literally like the father of the Marvel universe, the father of the family that started the Marvel universe, Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Who, it's like, if you don't know Reed Richards, it's like, oh, of course Stretchy Guy died. But if you know Reed Richards, but if you know Reed Richards, you're like, oh fuck, Reed Richards just fucking died.
Yeah.
Reed Richards got fucking bodied. And then Maria and Peggy are just like very like just literally don't even give a shit, are just like, well, this is a really inconvenient thing to happen.
Yeah, no, they look at each other like,
like these bitches. And I loved Maria's like little like. I could feel like the leftover sass from her character in the most recent Bond film, because that actress Lashana Lynch was also in the last James Bond film. Very sassy character. And so I could really feel that in her, like, motherfucker. Like,
motherfucker.
Yeah. It was very cool, but I think I wrote about it in my review as well, which I'll probably link in the show, in like the description or whatever. I'm looking for a napkin because I'm noticing condensation on this place where you put your drink down.
Oh, Colin put it there first.
That's true. Fuck you,
what?
Colin.
What?
We should have brought it.
When did I ever have your glass?
When you first put it down.
You put it down. But then again, I brought the ice. It's everyone's fault.
Aren't you putting yours on a wooden desk? It's probably worse to put it there.
It's true. I should have put it on my coaster, not coaster.
Yeah.
Or this paper plate I have right here. Put that shit down in there. One of the things I love the most about this film is that at its core, it's a film that asks a very simple and honest question to its lead characters, which is, are you happy?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting because I like to view MCU films as standalone as I can perceive them in my mind, despite the fact that they're essentially beholden to whatever purpose they serve in the long-term MCU narrative. But at its core, you can see that this is a film about a wizard who has saved the world, but at a great cost, and who, despite everything they've done, has pretty much not gained what they want. Which is exactly the same thing that happens to Wanda as well, but obviously they took a much darker path because of the juxtaposition and how they were received for how they dealt with their trauma, and also, just different things happened to both of them.
Well, that's what I like too, is that Wanda is quite literally, basically just like how she says at the end, like she calls him a hypocrite and stuff. It's like he's quite literally Wanda if she's just stayed good. I feel like in a way, And then Wanda is the same thing, is that if he turned bad, she's basically kind of what would have happened to him.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like they kind of, in the movie, they've constantly kind of showed parallels between them. Like, she's like, oh, I know self-deception when I see it. Like, you know, like, there's a lot of them kind of reflecting on each other. But, like, I feel like the main thing that kind of set them apart, I guess what the movie tried to make it seem like what set them apart is the fact that, I mean, obviously we also have No Way Home, which kind of changed Strange as a character from kind of understanding, like, okay, it's not always about the grand calculus of this so-so, you know? But also I feel like with America Chavez, that's why this Strange was a little bit different, because, you know, her interjecting in his life changed the trajectory.
He's had to become a softer person, but also something I've noticed about all of these multiverse stories, because, I mean, think about it, like, they've become very popular as of late, multiverse, like, stories.
Even they're looking like two.
But I mean, the last several Marvel properties, like, you have
Marvel, yeah.
I mean, not even just Marvel, though. We've had Everything Everywhere All at Once. We've had, I feel like we've had a couple of other movies that have tackled the subject matter.
That's the only reason why.
But also in terms of, like, games or, like, other properties, there's that new Multiverses game.
God.
It's just, and I mean, even if it's not narrative properties that are, like, big on story, it seems as though there's a lot of stories that are capitalizing on the, like, the multitude of possibilities in, like, other universes and stuff like that. And so, but something that I find interesting about the way that this film tackles it, because obviously if you do anything with the multiverse or time travel, you'll have people picking apart for all the rules.
Right.
But I would argue that if the emotional crux of the narrative that connects it is strong, then I think a lot of those can be forgiven. Endgame didn't really have a strong emotional crux that made as its purpose for this time travel. The time travel is kind of in just a narrative device to look back at the beginning before they got to the end.
I mean, yes and no, because, like, to be fair, they at least, I mean, I guess, yeah, could you argue, obviously,
and I'm
realistically,
saying,
the writers could have wrote whatever the fuck.
And I'm not saying it was bad, I'm saying that I enjoyed it, but that's an example of one where, like, when you look back on it, it's kind of like, if you think too hard about the time travel, it can, you know, it can lessen certain parts of that film.
Yeah, I mean, but that kind of goes in with a lot of films. I mean, the same thing with this film is that a lot of people I know were, like, talking about how, like, oh, it's called the Multiverse of Madness, but, like, it's all New York, like, stuff like that. You know, like, if you think about it a lot more, you dig deeper, you're always going to find something that'll lessen something.
And I think it's also, again, about battling the expectations of the audience.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people had a lot of expectations. It's kind of like
it's WandaVision all over. I will say it again. I don't know if I said it last time. I can't remember. It's literally WandaVision all over. Everybody was like, well, this is going to be in it. This, and that, and this, and that. And then it didn't happen, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, WandaVision's just bad. And it's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, WandaVision had its problems, but
it did. But it was also
it's not as bad as people said it.
It was pretty great. It was pretty cool.
Excuse me?
It did have its problems.
Besides other Quicksilver,
and I don't even have a problem with that. I'm just talking about more the pacing of the show was off.
Well, also
it was slow in the beginning, which I was fine with the slow build up, but then it started to quicken because it's like, oh shit, we're running out of time, and then the last episode was just like, bam.
Well, the
like,
last episode,
like,
well, also because it did so many brilliant, inventive, creative things, and maybe not even inventive, just it went off the beaten path, and did really interesting, scary moments. Really contemplative moments, great conversations, conflicts that didn't end up being a superhero fight, but ended up being characters just trying to talk to one another.
Ship of Theseus.
Yeah, the Ship of Theseus. But again, Ship of Theseus was like the only thing I liked about that finale. Everything else about that finale...
It was very quick.
I hated the season finale.
I didn't mind the season finale. I just feel like everything... Same with Moon Knight. It's honestly the issue I have with most of the Marvel shows is that the last episode... They have so many interesting plots that they're kind of setting up to kind of go through something, but because these are limited series, or at least supposed to be seen as limited series, they have to wrap everything up by the end of it,
That's
basically.
That's a fair point, yeah.
So when they do that, it kind of lessens this overall story.
But also, they didn't even wrap everything up. I felt like they rushed everything.
Yeah, but they rushed it just so they could end it.
Just so they could end, exactly.
Right. Like, they had to have some kind of pretty definitive end. Like, you know, like technically, yes, WandaVision is over. There's no more WandaVision. Like, they were like, done, cut and done. Like, you're done. And kind of the same, I mean, not the same with Moon Knight. Moon Knight, obviously, they leave it open, but, like, there were so many interesting things in Moon Knight and, like, the story with, like, Haro and stuff like that I feel like at episode 5, was that the one right before the 6th one? Whatever the second last episode was, I felt like there was so much that they had to finish that I was like, they either need to make the finale twice as long or like literally give it a whole nother season to flesh out more stuff.
And then we'll get to Moon Knight in probably after we finish Vial B.
Side B.
But we're not doing that yet. We need to finish Multiverse.
Colin got really excited. He's like, shit, let's crack this bitch open.
But I mean, WandaVision, I think, definitely had its flaws as it went on.
Yeah.
In terms of like getting away from the stuff that was mysterious and like different, until it kind of felt like I was just watching Ant-Man and the Wasp at the end. But by that I mean I felt like I was losing interest and getting kind of bored the more that it just looked like another Marvel movie. And I felt like they could do better than that. Especially considering like what Matt Shakman as a showrunner has been able to do, not only with the early episodes, but with the episodes of like It's Always Sunny that he's worked on.
Right.
So,
yeah, I can see it. I wouldn't say I got bored. I just feel like I definitely did kind of feel disappointed that I just kind of went back and just kind of rushed through that stuff, in my opinion at least.
But back to Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
I think the thing I love the most is that despite all of the wackiness, the stuff that was wild and inspired, and the cool, like kind of cheap, corny, but like really visually inspired transitions, and like
very Evil Dead,
and the elements of like the heavy metal, the way that they had a musical way of implying Doctor Strange's character arc and development and the new powers he was tapping into. To just the fact that there were two moments that were very like human and simple that really elevated the film to a whole new level for me, which was one, him talking with the evil version of himself about his sister, and that's something that could only have come to light if he was talking to himself, because that's something that it's like, wow, this is something that outside of lead character's narration we never would have heard about,
right? Because
he is so guarded, which is so like him. But then when he's talking to Christine at the end, you can really feel that a lot of that moment is informed by how he finally confronted his past trauma,
right?
And what I really liked, and I was thinking about this in the car ride to work one day, and I thought about it, I was like, whoa. It was like, I thought about how it seems like a lot of multiverse stories aren't about what's different, they're about what's the same.
Yeah.
And I think that
No Way Home was very much about what is the same.
And like him saying like, I love you in every universe, which some people will go, oh, but we can't live in every universe. Shut the fuck up. Like thematically, yes, he loves her in every universe.
Well, not even that, but it's also because every universe that he knows of, he literally loves her in every universe.
And he can't get her.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that the way of them tackling a character story within this one film, it was simple, it was carried by good music and solid performances, and it enhanced and was the foundation to a really fun, consistently wild vision that, like the greatest entries in the MCU, felt like a cinematic expression of an artist's vision. Which is basically my way of saying, Sam Raimi, you done it again. You done it again.
Yeah, I really like the horror elements of like the whole movie. That was really good. But I do feel like kind of what you're going like about how like multiverse movies are usually about what's the same. Mm-hmm. I kind of like this movie in that it also diverged from that, and that it was kind of showing how they're basically like, oh, you're the same Doctor Strange. Like I've seen them all. They're all the same. But like, this is they kind of made it like pointed out that he's not the same as every other Strange. They literally said that in the movie. And I kind of like that because, like, in Spider-Man, it's like, yes, all three Peters are somewhat different, but they're all literally basically just the same person. Like, basically, you know? So it's like...
And Peter's like, character development comes at the behest of the influence of a outside of his own world, and then is saved by himself from another world. So it's like, with great power comes great responsibility, just so long as you get help from yourself from another universe.
Yeah. So, like, I just feel like it was interesting to see them kind of take a little bit of a... kind of diverge from that, and that saying, like, yes, like, obviously there's Doctor Strange in the universe, but, like, this is the only Doctor Strange from your universe. I kind of liked how they did that. But...
Yeah.
I will say one thing that I really thought I was not going to like. Not that I wasn't going to like it. I just feel like they were going to like force it, and like I just thought her character was going to be like meh. Was America Chavez? I'm really hoping they're not going to just make her like. I don't know. I don't even know what I was
happy
thinking.
with her.
No, I actually really liked her character. I was scared they were going to make her terrible, and they didn't.
They're just gonna. But now she's a wizard too, or she's gonna be a wizard.
Cool. She's a wizard that can punch holes in
it's going to be interesting what they do with that, considering...
Yeah. Maybe they're just going to make her, like...
Or maybe they're just going to, like, train her and, like... Or maybe it'll be more just, like, a discipline type thing.
I think it's more of, like, discipline and, like, training her, because, like... Because they're the ones that obviously know the most about her power, so they'll be the ones that can train her the most with it.
And she might not even do the same things that all the others do. She might just use it to make her portals better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It literally just might be learning, like... to control your own power.
So now all we need is Hulkling, and we need Wanda's kids to somehow exist again.
We still need Iron Lad,
and then age up.
Even though we technically have a version of Iron Lad.
Yeah, that's true.
Do we?
Was Iron Lad I'm guessing it was.
Nathaniel Richards.
Because I know that we might be getting Riri Williams, Ironheart, the new.
Yes, like, there's a show. There's supposed to be a show.
Yeah. Some people
maybe they'll just use her.
Some people speculated that she might be introduced in
Armor Wars.
No, not Armor. Well, maybe Armor Wars,
I would
but
say
also
probably Armor Wars.
But somebody suggested maybe in Wakanda Forever, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean I can see that too. God, I'm not confused. I just don't know what to even expect.
Did you
from
see
that
what
movie.
Letitia Wright said?
No,
Letitia Wright was like, we faced such difficulties in making this film, but we really tried hard. No, bitch, you were the difficulty. Because Letitia Wright, for those who aren't aware, Letitia Wright is like an anti-vaxxer and must have been like hell on the set, unless they finally put a needle in her and shut her up. But like, I don't know. Well, I'm sorry, I have no fucking sympathy for anyone who's that stupid and brain dead. So anyway, let's drink more whiskey.
Oh man. I think they're gonna bring another make another Black Panther.
What'd you say?
I think they're gonna make another Black.
They are. That's what we were just talking about.
No, I mean like
after.
I'm trying to think. I'm
pretty sure they already said they're not going to recast the T'Challa. So obviously T'Challa.
No, right, but I mean like a different guy. But aren't the lotuses gone or something?
The what?
The flowers or whatever.
The flowers.
Oh.
Well, they saved one of them to bring him back,
but he drank it, so there's no.
But there might be seeds that they could plant.
Maybe.
I don't know. Point is, I remember one idea was that I know.
Point is, they have bullshit they can somehow.
Wow, I don't like this one.
Oh, give me the thing.
Let's close that before you spill it. I'm scared.
We're drinking Shinobu, a blended Japanese whiskey, 43%.
Ooh, there's something about it that smells.
The aftertaste. I don't like that aftertaste.
The primary flavor of this one is apple.
That's what the aftertaste is, yeah. Nope, I don't like that.
I don't think I smell the apple. There's something else. What else is there?
Ooh.
Wait for the aftertaste, though.
Nutty, peaty, black pepper. lemon.
That's what I'm
That
also
might be what-
tasting. That's what
Slightly
I'm
sweet,
tasting.
spicy, toasted, and vegetal.
That just doesn't sound good at all.
The word vegetal, I don't think...
That is never a
yeah,
good way.
that is never a good way to describe anything.
It's the
I'm not as...
aftertaste.
I don't think that's that bad.
The pepper is definitely the aftertaste.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
It's like a pepper apple.
I like it more than the first one.
I like the first one
The
way
first
better.
one's way better.
We're not trying to do the third.
No, I know. I'm just opening
He's like,
it.
he's like, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Oh, it's not even that like strong. It's just.
Oh, it's weird now.
Yeah. You know what?
Finish this.
I was going to say maybe like Lakeith Stanfield, but then Lakeith Stanfield turned out to be kind of like...
The fuck are you talking about? For a new Black
For a
Panther?
new Black Panther.
I was like, you just like started it going.
Yeah.
Oh, you know. Well,
But then I heard he was kind of like, not anti-vaxxer, but one of those anti-vax centrists, where he's just like, don't force people. Fuck off.
I feel like they're probably gonna do Letitia Wright as, because that's what was in the comics. Was the sister became?
I joked on Twitter. I was just like, the whole Black Panther sequel is going to be everyone in Wakanda trying to convince Okoye to be Black Panther, so that Letitia Wright doesn't have to be Black Panther.
Jesus.
Honestly, I'd rather have her be Black Panther.
Yeah, honestly,
Absolutely.
it's not even that. Like, I personally don't have anything against Letitia Wright. I don't care, honestly, myself, but I just don't think she acts very well. At least not in Black Panther. I don't know. I didn't think
I haven't
she
seen
was
her
that
in
great of
anything.
an actress.
I haven't
Black
seen her in
Panther.
anything
I mean,
else.
that's just my own opinion.
No.
I haven't seen her in anything else. I'm saying just in Black Panther. When I'm going, I'm just kind of like, meh. Like I don't see her as being like Black Panther. I don't know.
I get that, yeah.
I feel like it's because the character, at least what they've kind of defined as a character, is kind of like honorable. Like he has this like kingly charm. Like I just don't get anything from her that feels like regal of like I don't know.
No,
but again,
right,
it's obviously would be a different Black Panther, but I feel like Okoye defines what his character stood for more than what she would.
Oh, I 100% agree. I just hope that they make the right decision with this.
Completely forgot who Okoye is.
Okoye was the...
That's why I thought
No,
he. That's
you're thinking of Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh, I'm thinking of her.
Really?
Yeah. I
was thinking of Okoye.
I know who you're talking about now. She's a Dora Milaje, like general.
Yeah, one of the generals, and that's
You
it.
said he. That's why I was confused for a second. Yeah,
Haven't she-
someone said he at some point. And I was confused.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, what is her character again?
Okoye?
Like
Yeah,
the
no, not Okoye, the other one.
Oh, she's like a
Lupita-
spy. Lupita Nyong'o was the love interest.
Yeah, but what was her name in the movie?
Black Panther. I just say Lupita.
Jeremy?
Panther.
Just go to all.
Yeah,
I was gonna
probably
say, don't go
pop
look
up.
at images. Does
Fuck.
it literally not? There's no way that it doesn't show it.
Well,
Wait.
not
It
in
was
the
showing.
cast.
Oh, okay.
Nakia.
Nikki,
That's
yes,
right,
Nakia.
that's right.
I was thinking about Nakia. I feel like she'd be good.
I mean,
But
it's
also,
Lupita,
I mean,
it's
you know,
Lupita, so she'd probably be pretty.
From this range, Sterling K. Brown, I thought was Chris Rock for a second.
Oh my god.
I was like, wait, Chris Rock was in that movie?
I didn't even know that Sterling K. Brown was in it.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't either, but
Jobu.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about Sterling.
Yeah,
K.
he was.
Brown.
Yeah.
Sterling K. Brown. He was in.
He's in This Is Us.
He hosted SNL.
Oh, yeah,
he hosted
okay.
SNL at one point. It was actually very funny.
The movie ended. By the way, that show ended. If you guys didn't know,
This is
I
us.
never watched it. I've heard
it's
it.
the final episode.
I only know
Very
about
depressing. For me,
the crockpot
Oh
incident.
my god. Yeah.
Where they had to have the guy, one of the actors, be like talking. He had to do he did like a PSA where at the end of it he was getting something from a crock pot. It was just like, don't blame crock pot. It wasn't their fault.
Oh my god.
Because people, I think, were throwing out their crock pots because that crock pot started that fire in that episode.
Oh my god. People are just.
It's like
People are so dumb. I'm sorry.
It's like that
Jesus.
Uber Eats ad campaign where it's like, I can eat it. No,
Don't.
And
Yeah,
there's
you
actually
fucking
a
idiot.
disclaimer saying, edible tape, don't actually eat, at the bottom. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
The worst part is they have to do that because
you know-
they
yeah.
know somebody would try to do that.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Man,
crazy.
this is fucking awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's not
I'm gonna
good.
try another one. I'm gonna try. It's B.
It's
B.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little left.
Also, you didn't give us
B
like,
for bad.
the full
Why would you do that?
I-
I witnessed that. Is there still some in the cap? Just use the cap. Did you see what he just did?
No,
He literally
it's-
unscrewed the cap, and then to put it down, he flipped the whole thing over to fucking put the cap down, which then spilled the whiskey
Which then spilled the
all
whiskey.
over.
Oh my god.
All over.
Oh Jesus! Well, at least we didn't like that one.
Yeah, right.
Shit, I'm sad. This is a really cool case.
No.
Hey, crunching that ice good? You
Yeah, I'm
crunch-
trying to get the flavor out. Oh god, it's so bad.
I like that one.
Oh, okay.
It's not so bad, but like, man, the first one was so much better. All right, I'm gonna go with more ice since I just crunched my ice.
It's in the freezer.
Oh.
Really?
Just make sure you don't.
I thought it would be in the oven.
Yo, just don't pick up the one that has water in it.
Really? You know?
Shut the fuck up. Because I didn't want to because if I didn't say that, there's a 50-50 chance that you go open it and your buzzed ass reaches
there's
in.
a 50 chance I would have did it anyways because how am I gonna know which was water or not?
You look at it. For real? He just said, I still don't know which one is ice. And I said, for real? To which he said, nah, I looked at it. Go drink some more. Baja Blast.
But my point is, I had to take both out of the freezer partially to see which one was water or ice.
Okay, but that is a process that doesn't need to be mentioned. It's
I know,
implied
but-
as part of the vetting process
But that's what
to
I'm
figure
saying.
out.
That's why I'm saying it was redundant for you to say grab the one that isn't water because I had to look at both anyways to figure out which one wasn't water. So either way, I would have looked and been like, "This one's water."
Because I didn't know if you were going to open it and just assume that they were already all full. You weren't here when I filled that other ice tray.
This is true. This is true.
Okay. Anyway, now that we're done with the semantic second on.
Semantic, is that a new thing?
That's a new segment. It's whenever we get into an argument. It'll be like
I'm
the
wording.
Yeah.
Speaking of wording, I'm looking at this flavor profile, right, for the next one.
Oh, okay.
And I really I'm questioning, because like all the other flavors are just like little illustrations of like an almond, a raisin, that sort of thing. And then we have nutty. It's just some 17th century guy in a powdered wig poking out of a nut.
It's because he's loopy. He's nutty. The flavor's crazy.
Oh, God.
Wait, no, wait. Let me see that again. Fuck. What the fuck? Okay, you need to post this on the Instagram. What the fuck is
So
that?
yeah, Multiverse of Madness are pretty poggers. Let's talk about Moon Knight.
Midnight?
Moon Knight.
Bruh.
I thought it could have been better.
Oh, I really liked it.
I really liked
I
it.
mean, I think it had its moments. It had moments where I was like, "This is really good," but that just kind of made me look back on the retrospect to be like, I just ended up looking back on the whole thing because of those moments that were strong, as if like, well, why didn't you just do this more? Like why? Like
okay,
like
so
why?
what moments?
I mean, so first episode was like pretty decent, good. Like honestly, if this had been produced in like 2011, this would have been one of the like the first episode would have been a standalone. It would have been one of those like Blu-ray DVD shorts that they put for like like side stories in the universe. This probably would have been that. It was good. It was like, oh, this is Moon Knight. This is his old deal. The second episode. I liked Harrow. I liked him as a villain. I like any villain.
Sorry.
Jesus. I like any villain that like really is committed to making you feel like they're a good guy, because I think cult leaders in any kind of fiction are really alluring as antagonists, and I think Ethan Hawke definitely was passionate about this role and cared about it. Third episode, I think, was pretty weak overall, mostly because it felt like it was jumping around a lot, and as the first episode where we really got to be in Mark's shoes. It felt like it was in the second act of a spy movie, where the first act would have been us getting introduced to that character. So Mark really was just kind of like Steven, you're gonna care about Steven because you've been with Steven for a long time.
I feel like they did that backwards on purpose. They kind of they purposely made Mark out to be the bad guy in the first half of it.
I know, but like I'm saying that they didn't do enough to make me. They didn't do enough to really build up that character by the third episode for me to be like, I'm really invested in Mark as a character. I cared more about Steven. And then the only reason that I was okay with Mark showing up was because Steven got a little bit annoying. Just a little bit. And then I was like, okay, now we can go back to doing the other stuff. Now we can go and we can have the fight with that... I don't know. I mean, some of the action was cool, but it also just... Kevin Feige, like, legit must have been shown a different fucking TV show when he said in that interview, it's just like, yeah, you know, he really fucks people up in this show. And it's like, no, he didn't.
I'll agree.
He never once did I watch this show and think like, oh man, he's really going relentless.
The only thing that I saw that could be seen as that, but wasn't executed quite well, was when he was stabbed with all those fucking poles in the like weird horse arena, and then he just like, and he like fucking breaks them all, and then he kills all the guys, but he does it off screen basically.
It felt very like Sam Raimi Darkman, but like wasn't as bloody as I would have.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't care too much about the blood. I just feel like when they did do the action to try to feel like he was brutal, they didn't show it enough.
They didn't put enough oomph. And this is another thing. It's like,
I'll agree with that.
With Multiverse of Madness, that's a PG-13 movie. That very well could have been rated R.
Rated R, but
some of the imagery, what they were able to do with what they did, they made some moments.
I will say
because they
the fact that Doctor Strange was a little bit more brutal than Moon Knight is a little off.
And Moon Knight is supposed to be a character with methods and kind of an attitude towards crime fighting on the level of like the Punisher.
Yeah. He literally just tanks everything too.
As a
want to break my arm? Go ahead.
Yeah, as like someone made a good point that like, take for instance Batman versus Moon Knight interrogating someone. Batman would extract information by threatening to break every bone in someone's hand, whereas Moon Knight would do it and then get frustrated when he breaks a bone out of order. Like because he's kind of crazy. And it's when you ask me like what moments made it feel mid, it's not even that there are particular moments where I look at it and I think this is not good. It's just that the entire thing, and I know this is an overused term especially recently, it just felt kind of mid. It felt like they weren't giving it 100%. They weren't thinking, like, what's a really compelling way that we can bring this to a close? Because I'm sorry, but a kaiju fight is not what I expected from the show that was marketed as Marvel's first character study. As if Iron Man wasn't a character study. As if fucking, like... No, Iron Man, I think, was the only character study. Iron Man, with, like, Jon Favreau's Iron Man was probably the only movie that was, like, that could constitute a character study. But, like, and you know what, Colin can attest to it, I was really vibing with the action in the finale. I really liked it when Steven finally took out those batons, because you know me, I love Nightwing, I love me some batons. Yeah. I love me some Eskrima. But, like, when that was done, I kind of was thinking, I really would have liked it if they built up the stakes of this conclusion a bit more.
And that's where I was talking about earlier, and that when it got to that, I think it was the 5th episode, it was the second to last. When it got to that episode, and what was at the end of that? Steven got frozen, right? In stone. When that happened, I was like, there is no way they're going to finish this show off in a way that I'm going to be satisfied with. Yeah. You know?
That's about right, yeah.
Like, it was too quick. another fucking 6 episodes.
Yeah, there's an image. It's the Moon Knight trailer font, and it just says not another fucking 6 episode.
Like
event.
the way that the fact that She-Hulk has
9.
No, 10 episodes, I think. I think more than 10 episodes, actually.
Yeah, because WandaVision was like 8 or 9.
To be fair, both of them I heard, She-Hulk I think is only going to have 30-minute episodes. So fine, shorter episodes. But they need, especially for if it's the introduction of a character, if they're going to do a show, they need to either have a longer fucking thing or just make it, like, say that it's going to be longer than one season.
Yeah.
Because the fact that they, in the 5th episode, they froze Steven, and then the very next they froze Steven, and then Mark was in the Field of Reeds, and then the very next episode,
he was just like,
out of Field of Reeds, Steven's back.
Yeah.
Here's an emotional thing about them getting together, and everybody's great, and they love each other now, and then everybody fight.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That is what got me, and again, it goes back to my thing where the Marvel shows have a very big issue with just rushed last episode.
Right, yeah.
Loki, I think, is the only one that I didn't feel that the last episode was super rushed.
Right? Because they were like, let's talk. Let's have a conversation.
Yes.
Let's have the main villain fucking monologue. And sure, I was a little bit annoyed when he wouldn't put down that fucking apple, but
I actually like that thing personally.
I forget it.
The one where the He Who Remains,
Yeah.
and he's like eating the apple and explaining how he basically knows everything up until this point.
Jonathan Majors is a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, let's not.
He really hates that scene.
Like, no. I mean, let's not lie. Like, Jonathan Majors is a good actor. If I rewatch that final episode, I'm sure I'd be fine with him. I just, like, they build up this character, and then when he shows up, he's just all kind of like, oh.
Well,
and then he just goes, like, stop eating that fucking apple. I can't understand a word you're saying.
But you would also be, wouldn't you, like, the reason that I was fine with it is because
He's crazy.
It makes sense. Yeah, he's crazy. Like, he literally knows everything that's going to happen up until the moment he finishes that apple.
And I get it. It just,
so that's why for me it's like, yeah, of course he's gonna
I was having trouble understanding him. That was my only thing. I just so that's why, because something about the way he was talking. It's like I was rewatching Batman Forever with my sister, and Tommy Lee Jones, he was the worst part of that whole film. Tommy Lee Jones was Two-Face. And when he talks, like, he'll go off on these rambling, like, villain rants, and it just, like, it's like he's trying to race himself to finish the lines so he can get off the set.
Well, he's Two-Face, so half of him is trying to race the
I
other
know,
half.
but he hated working on that movie. He hated working with who's Robotnik? Jim Carrey. He hated. Jim Carrey has a story. He saw him at a restaurant and he, like, walked up to him to say hello, and Tommy Jones immediately, his whole demeanor changed, and he stood up and he was just like, I hate you. I can't. And he was just like, I cannot sanction your buffoonery. He just did not like him at all. Wow. And well, to be fair, Jim Carrey is kind of an ass. Like, if you look up the stuff he's done, he's one of those, like, asshat method actors. And he's just kind of a dickhead.
I thought he wasn't a method actor.
He is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always thought he wasn't.
I mean, he's been method for certain roles, but the point is that, you know, I like Jim Carrey, but I can acknowledge that, like,
I guess you like his work.
I like his work, but he can definitely be a dickhead.
I feel like most actors, if you dig hard enough, you can find them being dickheads somewhere.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, they're human.
Well, right.
Like, of course, like, you know, your outward appearance towards people, like, if you first just meet somebody, or if you only see them, like, let's say a coworker, you only see him at work, you're going to say, oh, well, he's a stand-up guy, and then you see what he did and Saturday night fucking, you know, I don't know.
Jim Carrey is the reason that Michael Keaton didn't come back for Batman Forever.
Really?
Because Jim Carrey had, like, I think he dated, like Michael Keaton's, like, ex or something like that, or, like...
Well, that just sounds like more like a Michael Keaton problem than, like, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I mean, just because he dated his ex doesn't mean that, like...
I think there was more to it than that.
Okay, if there's more to it, then fine.
There's more to it. I think
otherwise, I feel like that's, if anything, that just makes it sound like Michael Keaton isn't the professional one. They couldn't put personal things aside.
Yeah.
But there probably is more to it. I would say, because Michael Keaton's
but also, if you have difficulty working with someone, like, it probably would not be the move to be in a major movie with them.
Yeah.
Even if you get, I mean, actually, Batman didn't even get.
Same thing with Aquaman.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa doesn't like Amber Heard, from what I've heard.
Oh.
From what I heard.
Well, I heard he wanted her to come back.
See, I just read that, and that so in the beginning,
so they could kill her off.
Yeah, right. Probably, but in the after the first one, I guess it came out that like they didn't like working with each other. Like there was no chemistry there. Like he just didn't like her. And then all of a sudden, recently, like literally recently, as in like a couple weeks ago, it's like, oh, Warner Brothers wanted to get rid of Amber Heard, but Jason Momoa and the director like asked her to come, and told her they needed to stay. And I was like, did they though? Because according to what I read before, Jason Momoa doesn't like her. So like, which one is it now? Can you
just imagine a world where they recast Amber Heard with Emilia Clarke, and how great that would be?
Yeah, true.
It would be so good.
You know what else I saw?
What?
I can't remember what her name is. Hold on. I'm not gonna remember her name.
Okay.
Just give me.
You know what the thing about 6-episode series that it's tough for me because two of my favorite shows of all time have been 6 episodes, Gunbuster and Diebuster, and also Fooly Cooley was also 6 episodes because they kind of have similar production staff. Because they were like, all right, 6 episodes, and these aren't 40-minute episodes. These are 23-minute episodes.
Right.
Now think about the name Fooly Cooley. You hear them, you're like, oh, that popular anime.
Nah.
Classic.
To be
Legendary.
To be fair.
Only 6 episodes.
If you're doing regular 20-30 minutes and you're doing 6 episodes, you could basically just make a movie.
Pretty much.
But I feel like Marvel is going at it from the aspect of, we're making a show, but we want the plot line to fit in something that's a movie thing.
See, what I feel like
and
it
I
is,
feel like that fucks with it.
the thing with and you could argue that with those old Japanese OVAs as well, is that like they made 6 episodes of content that could pretty much be a movie, but it's like 2.5 hours within those 6 episodes, and just about, and it works. It works really well. Each of those episodes is a perfectly contained thing that moves the plot along, and the way that they introduced new stories each episode allows each chunk of that narrative to feel incredibly important, and also to have the story itself feel much more important in its entirety, because it's almost like chapters or acts of a play or a book. And so I really respect the way that writers have been able to tailor their stories to fit that 6-episode time slot, because also if you have a movie that randomly switches from episodic plot to episodic plot, like if Fooly Cooley was a movie, I think people would criticize it for being a very odd narrative structure. But since it's an OVA, I think they can get away. They can get away with it. With these Marvel productions, I feel like they go at it with the mentality of like, we want to make longer movies that we can justify making longer because we're going to cut it up like it's a TV show.
Right.
Like, I think they said that I think they produced stuff like WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier with the mentality that it is a movie. And then they just kind of turn it into, they release it as a TV show, which can be fine, but that also just, to me, that just says...
I feel like it's not... I feel like what you said, you described it perfectly in that. It is definitely... They made a movie and they cut it up, but the thing is, movies aren't usually consistent. Yeah. You have the rise, the fall. Yes, shows have that too, but it's like, if you're going to just make a slightly longer movie, then you need to, especially... I guess my issue is more, yes, they went in with the movie mentality, they cut it up, and they're like, okay, here's the movie, like, here you go. And I feel like because of that, like I was going in before, everything feels too rushed in that they were doing it as if it was a show.
Yeah.
So, like, still, like, they had the Stephen freezes, like, those kind of things where you're like, oh, God, like, there's going to be a portion of time without Stephen, and you're going to be like, oh, we're missing him now. And then it's like...
And it's like, even...
They didn't have that.
And it's like, even if in a world where Moon Knight was released as a long movie, that still would have been a shitty plot point.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like, no, it would have been a fine plot point if they let it have time.
That's
what they needed, is
have
more
an episode
time.
in the field of the Land of Reeds.
Even if they just had one fucking episode.
Yeah.
That would.
But then also you have to think about it, it's like, because I don't even know what they would have done with him being in the Land of Reeds, but at the same time, like... But that's their job as writers to figure that out. Or
they could have even just made the adventure to get Steven back a little bit longer. Yeah. Or honestly, they could have had Mark self-reflect more on his own character after they went more about Steven learning his, background. They could have had Mark learn more about himself. and then go from there.
I remember there was a moment, and Colin, you feel free to chime in at a point with your thoughts on the final episode as well, because I'm curious to see how you would the final episode of Moon Knight. But like, I remember distinctly remembering it's like, oh man, what's Layla gonna do? Because she's got to figure out where the hell they are keeping keeping Khonshu, because we don't know where that place is where all the gods met up. It's got to be somewhere completely different, right? It wouldn't be the place where Hera was going, because they just described it as like, no, it's all the same place. It's all exactly the same place. She's already heading there. She just needed.
Well, it's kind of funny that Steven already knew when the gods like all met up there.
Yeah.
Like the very first thing he said when he walked in, he's like, Pyramid of Giza, and I'm like, has a lot of people been inside the Pyramid of Giza for him to know what it looks like inside?
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
Like a lot?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot. We know what it looks like.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense.
Okay, well then I guess they did kind of cover their bases.
It's
then.
nothing like that. But
I didn't think that was that, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying in the continuity it can maybe look like that. I don't know.
So now that you've said that, since they established it earlier, I guess it makes sense that they were heading the same direction. But I don't know, it felt very convenient. Also, it's like they solved a lot of the problems really quickly. All the problems that essentially, it's like there was somebody in the room that said, okay, well, is there going to be like a final fight? Like the boys got to get together. They got to be able to merge and get their Moon Knight powers and kick ass, right? And Khonshu's got to like fight with the hot lizard lady and do like and have a big battle, and it's got to be great. It's like, yeah, but like Steven and Mark are like separated in like the afterlife, and Khonshu's a statue, and Harrow looks like he's winning. It's like, what if they weren't? and then within the course of like the first 20 or 15 minutes,
I would say
less than that,
maybe like 10 minutes.
Layla just like Splinter Cells her way in and fucking yeets that shit.
Layla ended up being cooler than Moon Knight, I felt.
Honestly, yeah.
Because she was Egyptian Falcon.
She ended up, honestly, yeah, true. She ended up being cooler than Moon Knight, but obviously I think Mark obviously had, like, he had the better character arc.
Sure,
because they had the whole, like,
right.
thing. But yes, as, like, an actual, like, superhero or just, I guess, character in general, she was definitely, she was definitely stood out more as, like, the cool, like, I'm that big.
Yeah.
But
it's just, it's sad because I liked some of that action, but at the end of it I was just like, I just would have really liked it if this concluded. If it stayed true to its intentions of trying to be a character study that got to the core of who these people are and why they are the way they are.
yeah.
Because fourth episode was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It's like finally we like acknowledge his Jewish heritage. Finally we get like some really we kind of tackle the subject matter of like the dissociative identity and all that stuff. Oscar Isaac killing it as always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They fly now?
They fly now?
Layla does.
Oh, it's true.
But
and Moon Knight, actually.
I just felt like, again,
true.
This isn't a bad show. By all accounts, it's a decent show. It's a good show. It's, it built itself up in a way that people got excited because they had interesting shit built up. It's just the way that it all ended, it made me think.
I will say, of all the things that they did have payoff for, I am happy it was actually like the going into the mental disorder thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got more payoff there.
Right.
Like if I had to pick out everything that they set up, I'm glad that they paid off that first. Yeah. But I still feel like, honestly, my thought about what would have been the best ending to the season would have been Steven still being frozen, whatever happened to the Land Louise afterlife, just Mark being like, fuck, trying to get back, basically. So even if you want to have him find Steven in there, fine. But otherwise...
Maybe he doesn't get Steven back, but he gets the other guy. Jake.
Either that, honestly, mine was figuring out what the fuck he was going to do in that last episode. Don't even make it just a grandiose fucking crazy thing. Literally end it with him just waking up.
Yeah.
And then be like, Moon Knight will return in season 2.
And
That's how they fucking should have done it,
and-
honestly. Because there was so much they needed to do. I honestly felt like another season would have really benefited all of the characters involved.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And because I really did feel like at the end, it was fine. I had some fun with it.
Yeah, it was
But,
enjoyable.
but you know, we should
Man,
ask.
you really
better.
feel different about MCU shows.
Well, so what do you think?
I just like it in general. I'm not very critical. The ending was a bit rushed, I will say.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Overall, I'm not. I won't say the whole show is mid. I actually really like the show. It's just literally the last episode. I still liked. I still enjoyed it. It was the only thing that felt really weak to me because it wrapped up all these, to me, very interesting storylines in a poor manner. To me, that last episode was like the last few episodes of Game of Thrones.
I think there needs to be a ban in superhero fiction, at least not for permanently, just for like 5 years. If the conclusion of your story involves some big glowy light summoning or creating some kind of portal in the sky or sucking up souls or something like that, if there's something that involves a villain on a big structure summoning shit,
Stop.
just stop. Just be like, now I want you to take that and I want you to imagine that it's characters in a small room talking. And I want you to see if you can use some of that episode 4 magic to make a conclusion that's like cool. I just want a conclusion of a Marvel film or a Marvel series to just be a fight with no music of characters beating the fuck out of each other, slamming through walls. And it being like, and it feel like emotion.
Right.
And I want to feel the tension. I want to feel like there's a reason that these characters, like through the course of that final battle, like obviously combat
Winter
is
Soldier.
Yes.
Civil War. Kind of the same thing.
Honestly, yes, conflict is a culmination of elements, but it is also itself its own story. And I feel like the story of that final fight in that final episode is the series going on autopilot because it's already made the cool character designs, and it's just let the stunt coordinators and the second unit team and the VFX artists just be like, oh man. Oh,
Here we go
baby.
again.
Oh, bitch. And by the way, the nail in the coffin is that god-awful suppressor sound effect in the post-credits scene.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
It honestly was like an SNL sketch. It was horrendous.
Yeah,
and I was just,
when I heard that, I was like, that feels a little off.
like talk about
But
like
the thing is, that's only
talk about a bad
that was
taste
only
in your
stuff
mouth.
that like us would like really pay attention to. Most normal watchers, like Bella doesn't know what a fucking silencer should probably sound or suppressor should sound like. To her, she was just probably like, damn. You know?
Okay, but let's not think too little of the audience's
I mean,
intelligence.
man, I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't give a shit.
That's what I'm saying. So like, the reason people like us care is because we are more invested into guns and stuff like that.
But just it's also lazy audio editing. That is the laziest. Think about the amount of credit that we give these films for audio and visual entertainment. And how much
I wouldn't call it lazy more
ball.
though than it is them just going into a stereotype of what that's what suppressor sounds used to sound like in
yes,
movies.
And then we moved on because we realized that having better audio quality heightened the experience of entertainment. I'm just saying, as the end moment is as the aftertaste to a swig of what was called Moon Knight. That was like, kind of fruity, and it was just. I'm just saying, like,
That's how I felt about B.
yeah. Okay.
We need to move on to C.
We need to move on to the C. All I'm just saying is that, look, I'm not saying that you have to have a fucking PhD in fucking editing and audio direction. I'm just saying, fucking think about the media you consume and demand and demand better. Just demand better. Ask for better. This movie this series should have had a better conclusion. It shouldn't have felt like it was on autopilot for the last episode because we were like, well, we got to have Layla kicking ass, and I liked Layla kicking ass, but I also wanted to when Mark decided that he was going to spare Harrow, I kind of wanted to feel like there was more thought.
That's also very
going
true.
through
I was
his
like,
mind.
why are you showing mercy now?
Yeah, the only thing that I got from that was basically him just being like, "Fuck you, Khonshu. You want me to kill this guy? no.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's what it felt like, and that's why I feel like that last episode. Honestly, I think that was why I was saying it needs more for the characters, and that Haro actually kind of felt like how you were saying before, he believed what he was doing was right, and in a way, the values he was speaking can make sense to the audience, like you know, like how you were talking about like weeds in the gardens and all that shit. So it's like that makes sense, but it's like at the end, I honestly don't think he really had any dialogue.
Who?
Haro. Didn't he only have like maybe
really
like
didn't.
6 lines?
Yeah,
Maybe?
something like that.
Well, yeah, but
And
then you could
like,
argue that was his stuff was really communicated through the therapist character.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I just feel like they should have had more, like you said, just like stop and talk. Like for once, I actually wanted more monologuing in my movies or show. I feel like they should have. Again, I just feel like they should have slowed down. They should have showed Haro, you know, doing more shit now that he has Amit's thing, you know, or something like that. I don't know. And honestly, for the last episode, they could have had Mark stay in the field of reeds. They should have had Layla come out and fucking break Khonshu free, and then it ends with Mark waking up in that second season trying to get Khonshu and them together. Marvel, hire me.
Yeah, hire us as screenwriters. We'll make
As
something.
show
Yeah,
planners.
we'll make something
What
even
are you
worse.
doing?
Now you know how we
You say
feel
we'll
about,
make something worse?
We'll make something worse, probably.
Now you know how we feel about Star Wars.
True.
Let's try C.
Let's see.
Colin Trevorrow, the guy who should have did the third one.
I don't know how.
He had some
The
cool ideas.
He did
description.
actually have some
The
interesting ideas.
descriptors aren't selling me on this. I'm gonna be honest.
Wait, what was it? Oh, this is the one with the nutty guy on it, right?
Yeah. Look, I'll be honest. I've actually come around to the sequels a bit.
I did. No, I rewatched it with Bella because she's in a whole Oscar Isaac kick. So Poe Dameron, obviously.
Who isn't?
Obviously, yeah. Come on.
This
By
is.
the way, there's a show called Scenes of a Marriage. I think you would like it. It's really intense. Pretty
yeah.
intense. Great.
Oh, yeah, I've heard it. But I already watched Marriage Story, and I don't know if I'm ready to get my heart broken again.
This one, I would say, in my opinion, is worse than Marriage Story.
This is Sample C. This is Kurayoshi Pure Malt Whiskey, 46% alcohol. Its main
Smells like diapers.
its main essence is
it.
that of almonds.
Does it smell like diapers?
Smoky.
Ooh, it's
Smoky and spicy.
because it's not blended. It's a single malt. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be a little bit more of a bite.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's gonna be more of a bite for sure. I'm kind of scared. Scared.
I like it.
I felt
You don't
that.
like blended ones, obviously. I
felt
think
that-
that's what it is. Because
What?
I mean, you liked A a little bit, but you didn't like B at all.
No, yeah. I mean, I like Dave, but it's
Oh,
my
okay.
favorite
I felt that
person.
through my whole body, like through the arms, down the spine, straight to the rectum.
Matt, serious question. Have you
Yeah.
ever taken a break from Twitter just because it makes you angry all the time?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it
That
was
one has more of a bite. It's good, actually.
when I took the break from that one Discord server, I did it because, honestly, the reason I took a break from that was because there were problems and stressors about the world. But when my friends on there were telling me you should take a break from Twitter, what I realized was that what I really need to take a break from is from them because like I don't need to be within proximity of a guy messaging about how like systemic racism isn't real. So
See, that's how I feel about just having social media.
Yeah. The maximum I'll do for social media is I will go on Reddit, but I don't partake in Reddit.
Right.
I am not
That's fair,
I'm not
yeah.
commenting in it. I'll read a stupid comment and be like, yeah, that was dumb, and I'll just go
I
past
wouldn't
it.
want the rest of this because if not, I'm going to take it.
you can take it.
Good, take it.
It seems to be the one you like the
I have
most.
to drive, so.
Oh.
But yeah,
I want to keep myself somewhat informed because ignorance could be bliss, but also ignorance could.
see, I agree, but my issue is news should not come from social media.
No, that's the thing, right?
In my
Yeah.
opinion, news should definitely not come from social media. Can you get opinions on social media? Of course, that's what social media is basically for. It's everybody to voice their opinions, in a was supposed to be relatively equal, medium.
yeah.
But I truly don't think news should come from social media because there is way too many biases on social
Well, that's
media.
the problem too with modern news these
And that's
days.
just news in general.
Is
yeah.
that there?
you have to? It's very hard to
yeah.
find a non-biased news source. So that's why, if you're going to get news, realistically, yeah, you might hate it. You should be reading Fox. You should
No,
be reading
yeah,
CNN.
exactly.
You should be reading two of the extremes and then one that's in the middle.
Yeah.
That's the best way to get news because you're going to get one side saying one thing, one side saying the other thing, and then the one that doesn't really give a fuck.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And that's usually how I try to go. If there's a story I care about, that's how I go about it. Is I will research those three, not those exact three.
You know, me and Bobby did a whole project on this in college, actually, and we found that the Huntington Post was actually the most in the middle we could find.
Huntington Post?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, there's another one. I think Routers or Routers or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
They're actually relatively neutral as well.
Okay. There's some news station I got advertised on the radio the other day. It was like News Nation, the most unbiased news network.
The fact that you call yourself unbiased probably means that you're somewhat biased.
Yeah, I'm like, you couldn't come with a better thing than News Nation. That sounds
It's
like
because all the other ones are taken, man.
That's true.
You kidding me?
That sounds like a high school
Some
news
kid in high school
station.
just like, fuck it, News Nation. Fake Nation, bro.
Oh my god, we're old. That's such an old video at this point.
Wow. Don't you fucking lump me in with you. But yes, we are old.
Yeah.
You're older than me by like a week.
Fuck you. I'm younger by a week. Oh, I'm older by a
No,
week.
you're older by
Anyway, just be mindful of what publications might be trying to turn you into a white nationalist, and try, if you're a Redditor, try not to be like a debate lord, debate pervert. Don't try to I don't know, just don't be a dickhead.
That's the moral of the story.
Honestly, moral of the story, just don't be a fucking asshole.
And don't try to be like too much of a devil's advocate in political discussions, because just like if I get even the slightest whiff that you're getting off on playing the devil's advocate, I'm just gonna I'm cutting you off immediately.
You're done.
Like,
you're done.
The Twitch streamer I follow was doing like a whole segment where they were just going through like ban appeals on Twitch, because you can essentially appeal a ban if you're banned from the and he just had like a gavel and he was like denied or like unbanned, and just commonly they were just all right, we're gonna give you another chance, just don't be a fucking debate pervert. Basically what I mean by that is like there's a lot of people who are like centrists who like try to be like it's like they get off on the opportunity to be like, well, I can make this argument here, and if you don't have a counter argument to it, that's a moral failing on your part, even if they're literally trying to like create a justification for like what the Nazis did, just as a devil's advocate, though.
No,
I can see
right.
where they were coming from.
No,
We're almost going on 2 hours at this point.
damn.
We should probably end. Well, at least we got to C. I was worried we weren't going to get there.
Yeah.
And after the conversation that spawned from
I think
B,
A is better, by the way. B is the worst.
Really? C's the best.
You think so?
Personally,
I think
C's
A's
the
the
best.
I like blended though. That's why blended whiskeys, in my opinion, have a little bit more of a more complex.
I could probably drink A the longest, but I don't know if I'd enjoy it. I could drink B longer and probably enjoy it. C tasted actually pretty good. It's just it was so strong that I couldn't drink much.
A tasted more like Suntory to me, so I think that's why I liked it more. It was more of that more aromatic whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, I think that helped loosen us up.
Also,
a little bit,
speaking of Matt's devil advocate thing, the Nazi thing, he said. No, I'm not gonna say that.
No, I want to know now.
No, I was gonna shit on people who are like, yeah, I'm into history, and then it's all they're into is military history,
Oh my god.
and they use it to justify exactly what Matt just said.
It's a red flag.
It is a red flag.
What are the red flag? Like, have you found that there's red flags in your field?
Yes, that's one of them.
That's one of the main ones.
It's one of the main ones, I would imagine.
I shouldn't go into it because I could get in trouble. Not actually in trouble.
Are there red flags you tend to find in the tech field?
Trying to think what would it be. Not really, honestly. It's not really much because in the tech field, it could be the randomest person all of a sudden is like a fucking guru. There was a fucking high schooler that worked at Geek Squad that was he knew a lot about computers, and I was like, I don't even know how the fuck you know more than me. And I was like flabbergasted that this motherfucker knew this much. But then there's like fucking like 40-year-olds that's like, I've been working in the field for 30 years, and they like, I feel like they know nothing. So it's like, you know, it's like, there's really no, at least for my profession, because you don't really need anything besides actually just knowing what the fuck you're doing.
Sure.
It's hard to actually like find a red flag.
Right.
Yeah.
So my answer is no.
I haven't been in my industry long enough to spot those red flags. In my part-time job, I can tell you some red flags, but I think that's just the highs and lows of working in an office environment.
Right.
So, and I've had a few of those situations in a couple of jobs.
Right.
Let's start working in a school, because then the most you have to deal with in a school, at least in the capacity I worked at school, the most you have to deal with is kids.
That's fair.
And kids can be annoying.
Everybody knows kids suck.
Also, I just want to say, you can be into military history, just not into it that much.
You're talking, yeah. I mean, you're
Just don't make it your life's goal.
Yeah.
Me and
everything.
Josh are like super into. We talk a lot about like. We're super into like military sex. We're pretty much we're like
Right.
military weeaboos.
Well, Alex,
And, like, it-
and Alex,
guy from down the block, was he? What the fuck was his nickname?
Alex
from
on
down the block or something like that.
Alex on the block. Yeah.
He was really into military history, like a lot of.
Well, he was
military
also in the
history.
National Guard.
Well, now he is, but I'm saying way before that.
Way before it, yeah.
Like he was
So
really into it, and it's
But like you can also like I'm gay. I'm gay as hell. You can be like kind of a gun nerd and also like not be like toxic about shit.
Yeah.
Like you could just so you know, it's totally possible to be like, oh yeah, guns can be kind of fun and poggers, and also like say fuck the NRA. You could totally do both.
Well,
things.
and I'm gonna get a little bit serious, but I don't want to go on this too long.
Yeah.
I like, even with what happened with the shooting in Texas.
Yeah.
There's no way that should have been allowed to happen.
No.
That guy just turned 18. Few days after turning 18, he walked to a gun store, was able to get 2 AR-15s and 300 rounds of ammo. No fucking way it should be that easy.
No.
Do I think guns are cool? Do I like being able to go in a shooter range and shoot them? Do I think I should be able to own them? Yes. Do I think it should be that easy to gain access to them? Hell no.
No.
He, from what I know, or at least from what I was reading, he had like troubles in school. He got into fights a lot. He was failing. He wasn't going to graduate. Those should all be taken into account, especially if you're only 18. That's all your background really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a troubled background, they should be looking more into you and being like, maybe we shouldn't give this guy a fucking AR-15 with 300 rounds of ammo.
Do you want to know what the process to get a gun in Japan is? Because you can. You can get a gun.
Actually.
Yeah, you can actually. Basically, you need to. I think you actually have to have an interview with the authorities in regards to the reason why you were interested in getting a gun. Which I imagine that kind of idea in American paradigm would probably be a little bit more dicey, just because of the cultural distrust of authority and especially distrust of police. But this is Japan, so let's take that as we will. You have to have an interview, basically the reason why you want a gun. I think you need a more extensive background check that might be, if I remember correctly, up to like a month or something like that, maybe even longer than that. And I think they interview friends and family. Essentially, in addition to their background check. And also, I think you need to pass some kind of, some sort of exam.
See, that's what I've always thought is like,
that's what you assume.
Right?
You assume that some of the steps
I wouldn't say
be.
that you need to go through like the whole... I mean, do I think you should have maybe some kind of like interview with somebody? Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like even if they go as small... Yeah, even as small as just the background check. Like, yes, in Illinois, don't get me wrong, obviously gun violence is a thing because Chicago, everybody can fucking get a gun, whatever. But, I'm sorry, the FOID card does help in a way that you have to apply for it, you have to wait for a background check, you have to wait a month. There's no way you're going to get a gun in less than a month. Unless you're doing something illegal, which obviously, that's a whole other fucking thing.
Exactly.
But, if you're taking the legality out of it for normal citizens, or even just that kid in general, I'm sorry, people aren't as far as I know, I don't think people are just peddling AR-15s on the street. It's like, it's going to be fucking hard to get AR-15 unless you go to a legit shop. You have to show that you have a firearm owner's card and stuff like that,
We should probably stop soon, but that's also the issue of the weird loophole where you can just buy guns at gun shows and you don't have to have any documentation.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that are unregulated, but because not everybody, but there's a lot of the vocal people going like, hey, like, you know, the Second Amendment, like, I have the right to bear arms. It's like, I'm not saying you don't have the right to have a gun.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you shouldn't have the right to have a gun if you're fucking insane.
Because I feel like we can acknowledge, I feel like 90%, and that's being generous, but I feel like 90% of people who own guns, I feel like we could all make a lot more progress if we just admitted the real reasons that we're interested in owning guns, which is that guns can be fun to shoot in a shooting range.
And then, like, it's the same as archery. It's the same as owning fucking bow and arrow. I like to feel like I'm getting better at fucking shooting arrows.
The difference is the gun ranges aren't closed at random times. That's a high school archery club joke.
Oh yeah.
My God.
Oh man.
Archery is canceled today.
But like, even hey, you want like stress relief? You want to just like, you know, disassemble a gun and reassemble it? You know, I can see the appeal of it as a mechanical. The mechanical appeal of such a thing, but like enough of the like, you know, like I needed to defend my country. It's like against what? Because I'm afraid of you.
I'm afraid of you more than I am.
I'm afraid of the people in like the woods down south training in the god awful off chance that a woman becomes president.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm so
that you should probably preface that you were.
The gay communist hosting
Look,
a podcast.
whatever. You never know what can be clipped and taken out of
You're
context.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and it is true. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, do I feel like we should be worrying about if we're gonna get invaded? Probably not. Do I think it's probably going to happen eventually? Yeah, probably. But, like, America hasn't been attacked yet. Somebody's going to be able to do it one day. But it's more of, like... I feel like I understand where the original thought of the Second Amendment was right to bear arms and, like, you know, go against your country if your country ever got too tyrannical and crazy and everything. It's like, yes... But at the same time, I feel like we're kind of past that point.
There's also a point where...
You know,
it's also at that point you can only shoot a shot every minute.
What do you mean?
With muskets.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, true. Yeah, you weren't able to just gun down, you know, like fucking like 30 people. Yeah, honestly. But
at the end of the day, between
I'm not saying it's a simple thing. I'm just saying it's something that I truly think they need to look into. But because of the Second Amendment and stuff like that, they are literally not able to look into it.
All I'm saying is but like the discussion between me and someone who is like pro, like I gotta defend in the off chance of like an invasion.
The United States gets invaded. That's fucking World War III, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like we wouldn't even get invaded. We'd probably just get nuked.
Yeah, your AR ain't gonna do much against the tactical nuke. Look, I'm afraid of like homegrown terror and insurgencies. What are you afraid of? Trans people? Fucking pussy. Anyway, thanks for listening. I've been Matthew Lundeen. I've been joined here by Colin Steele and Michael Medea. Alcohol was a mistake this episode, I think.
I think it was good.
We'll figure out tomorrow morning, or whenever this episode.